There we go. Thank you, Bob. When Bob asked me to talk today, I was a little bit hesitant because I questioned, is there an art and science to what I do in my job? And I look around and see some of the publishers who I travel around the world with, and we think, oh, I know what I'm going to do when I go to work tomorrow. And then you get to work and you have 100 emails and someone comes in your office and the phone rings and then your whole day is blown up and you have to start again the next day, and it happens all over. So I really questioned if there was an art, but as I started to think about what I talk about, I realized there is a little bit of an art. And I don't think it was the mistake on my part that the word "to" was missing from our title of our talk, because I really feel like it's my job in sales not to sell to a library, but to work in partnership with our libraries. We both have the same goal. We want to get our content to the users. We want to get them the content that they want, that they need, and that they're going to use. We have 47 different journals across the biomedical, physical, and social sciences. We sell them as a collection, which has a slight discount. And then we also sell them individually, or they can do a custom collection. So we want to give libraries a lot of options. We're a mission-driven organization. We are a nonprofit. We're a little bit unique in that sector because we're not associated with a university press. We're not associated with a society. We don't sell any advertising. So sales are really important to us, but we want to do it in partnership with our customers. And I wanted to talk a little bit about who sells for Annual Reviews. And I put customer service and support team first because I really feel that the foundation of good sales is to have excellent customer service. And if my one piece of advice to anybody is, if your customer service team is not part of your sales team and they're not merged, to make sure you do that. For many years at Annual Reviews, we ran two separate departments. We had our site license, which was our sales, and then we had our customer service team. And a customer would call and one would say, well, I can't answer that. And it wasn't a very good customer experience. So about 4 years ago, we combined the departments. And I actually sit among the customer service team so I can hear what they say, and they can hear what I say. We can have meetings and talk about things. This morning I had 3 emails from customer service where they said, this customer has a problem with their access, but I see that you've been trying to talk to them about something else. Would you like to talk to them about their customer service problem? So that's been a really nice change for us at Annual Reviews. We also have our own sales team. For many years, I was the only sales rep at Annual Reviews. And so we concentrated all of our time, or I did, on consortium sales, which was great. It allowed us to grow our business and disseminate our information widely. But it hasn't been great in that we aren't getting to know the actual library customers. So we have expanded our sales team now. There's a total of 5. We have a consortium rep for North America. We have a consortium rep for Europe. We have a rep who covers all the people outside of a consortium around the world. And then I cover the Southern Hemisphere. And we have a salesperson that handles all of our agents and also manages Asia for us and the Middle East and North Africa. But even with 5 salespeople, we can't touch the whole world. We really rely on a network of agents. We don't use just one company to be our agent around the world. We choose different agents on the territories. I could give a whole hour-long talk, and we've actually done that through ALPS about working with agents, but I'll just let you see briefly. These are where we do most of our direct sales. Obviously, if it's an English-speaking country, that's the easiest for us. And this is where we have exclusive relationships with agents. And again, I could give a whole talk on that, but the most important thing that I would say about the secret and art of working with agents is that they really are an integral part of our business, and you have to pay attention to them, and they have to pay attention to you. In the same way, our market has matured and become saturated. The agents that work for us, they used to just carry 10 publishers' products. Now they're carrying 50 publishers' products. So if you're not going on campus visits with them, you need to be going to their sales meetings. You need to pay attention to them. And that's another reason we had to expand our sales team, is I was managing all the agents around the world, and we were having some problem areas, and you can't concentrate if you're doing everything at once. And I wanted to talk a little bit about consortium sales because they do make up 50% of the business we do at Annual Reviews. But there are a lot of liabilities working with consortia because you have all your eggs in one basket. And there's many different types of consortium. The things that fall into our consortium bucket are any global licenses or any national licenses, and then any of the traditional consortiums such as CAPES in Brazil, across Canada, it's CKRN, I believe. And then you have the regional, you have COPL, you have Council of Atlantic. And so we work with all different types of consortium. We actually work with some of our agents to form open consortiums. In countries where they don't have one, we'll work with an agent who we set a minimum and we ask them to go out and get that minimum number of members, and we offer a discounted price. And one thing I meant to mention in my first slide, that we are not in the business of making people buy huge collections. We like them to if it's appropriate for them, but we also make it easy for them to buy the individual journals. So our average journal price is $262 when it's outside of a collection. Within a collection, it's $222. So if someone says to us, you know what, we're not using this, we're not going to buy it all, they're not going to feel like they're being penalized because they can only take 5. They're not going to have to pay an exorbitant fee just to get those 5 journals. It was kind of interesting. I couldn't decide what I would call our current market. Is it a mature market? Is it a saturated market? It's a market with flat budgets. And not only growing our business, we have to figure out how to maintain our business. That's getting harder and harder. I have to spend more time keeping a current customer sometimes than getting a new one. And so I think the most important thing we've done at N-Reviews over the last 5 years is we've really cleaned up our data. And we use the Ringgold numbers to do that. And each account has been assigned a Ringgold number that covers all the different accounts in our systems. So Dean's University, we would have found in our system under UBC, University of British Columbia, Uni of British Columbia, Uni of BC, BC Biomedical Library. So we had 20 different accounts for the same customer. You can't give good service to your customer if you don't know what they're buying and what they're using, and you can't really do any work with them on getting them your products if you don't know what they really have in place. So we cleaned up our data. We have great access to denial reports, which show us what our customers that we currently have, what they're trying to get into that they don't subscribe to. We finally got access to our author and editorial committee reports, which was something we didn't have access to. We didn't know who all of our authors were. So we got access to that about 5 years ago, where they put a program in place so I could easily get that. We have great usage reports, and we have just all the regular orders that come in outside of our site license collections. And that's a lot of great data, but when you have a sales team and they're going to call in a customer, or a customer's calling into your office, you have to go to 5 different sources to get that data. So we implemented MasterVision. Are any of you using MasterVision? And it's been really great for us. This is a dummy data, but we can now go to one place where we can see what a customer, how much they spend, what they buy, what their general usage is, what kind of denials they have, what authors are on their campus, if they've had any pay-per-view. And so it's all in one place now. It's still not perfect. We're still cleaning up data. But remember, we've been in business since 1932. So we have almost 85 years worth of accounts in our system that we're still cleaning up. The other thing we have access to is the Redlink publishing dashboard. This is a great product for us. A lot of the information that's in MasterVision you can also put into this. We haven't done that yet. But this is a typical report that I use all the time, where I can say, let me look at the country of China, and I want to see everybody who's had a denial of access to our content. And again, these are only customers who have at least one subscription. And then I can sort it top down, and I can hand it off to the salesperson. The thing that I really like about Redlink is that I can assign it to our outside agents so that they'll have access to this just for their territory, and they can get the reports on the fly, because they're often in different time zones and they are going to visit an account and they can get it. What I'm really excited about is right now we have access to the people who have an account with N-Reviews. I'm going to be beta testing with Redlink a new program they're putting in place where we'll be able to track where these denials are coming from when they don't have an account. And so we'll be doing that, I think someone's here, but starting in June. So I think for any of us, that's a great tool. We have thousands of denials. We have no idea where they're coming from. So that's another tool we use. We continue to go to a lot of the major conferences. I just put a few up here. I mean, you could spend your entire life on an airplane if you had the money. So you have to pick and choose what you go to. There's a lot of regional conferences with agents. That's another reason we have increased our sales team is I felt that I really knew the consortium managers well, but I wasn't getting to know the librarians in the way that I needed to. And so we're going to start trying to do more customer visits and more direct interaction with the librarians. All of your agents have sales meetings, and I highly encourage you, if you're not going to go, to get to know their salespeople. Each consortium has their own meeting. I know Skelk has a meeting, Uncos has a meeting, Viva has a meeting. And you can't go to everyone, but if you can every other year, or every 3 years, make sure that you get the opportunity to go to those meetings with your customers. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, I really wanted to go quickly through my slides because I think we're so lucky to have a librarian here to talk to us about what he needs when someone is selling with him, not at him. We really have to find a way to make ourselves, especially, how many are with nonprofit publishers in the room? That's, okay, I like to see that. Because I was at Charleston and I was in a session that was very similar to this one, and a librarian raised her hand and she said, well, I'm sorry, but 80% of my budget goes to the big deals, and I just have to cut around and negotiate with the edges. Well, we're the edges, and we shouldn't be the edges. We have to find a way to make sure that we're seen as a really valuable product and that we're not thought about as being on the edges. And one way we're changing is we're really trying to get a balanced marketing focus between libraries and readers and also between journals and content. So when I first started at End Reviews, we had a history of really marketing just to individuals to get them to get personal subscriptions, and we made a shift over to more institutional marketing to try to get people to purchase our site license and our collections. And now we also want to bring back in the readers. And we've been doing that all along, but we're doing a lot more with Twitter, Facebook, email campaigns, and we're not just marketing the journal. It used to be, someone should use the annual review of biochemistry. Well, now we're marketing the content, and we'll market an article, we'll make it open, and Jenny, who's here, she gave a good talk on it yesterday. She's from our marketing team, and we're really lucky to have a marketing team that's thinking this way. We're also participating in Kudos, so it allows our authors to market their articles and their content that they've written. So those are just some of the things that we can do, but I'm looking forward to hearing what Dean says and then having a really good discussion about how we can, all of us that are nonprofit publishers, how we can make sure everybody, the libraries, understand our value, and that we shouldn't be on the edges. We should be in front of them, and then the big deals can come behind us. So I will turn it over to Dean.